being in an abusive relationship with your children's father led you to a broken jaw that led to surgery complemented by opiates.
Yes.
Um, that was at age 26,
Yes,
correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. So you ended up becoming a heroin and fentanyl addict for 13 years.
Yes.
How how do you go from opioids to heroin and fentanyl? How does that happen?
Uh, Real quick, it happens really quick. I was hanging around people that was in the drug life. I had ran out of pills and I had nowhere to get them. The hospital stopped giving them to me. And so I started looking on the street and I ran into a friend and she offered it to me and I was hooked.
But was it just not cutting it? Like at what point are you taking the opioids and you're like, I need something else? How does that happen?
Well, it was when they had cut me off. The hospital is just I couldn't get any more, so I had to find other ways to get it. Street, through friends, family.
So was it easier to get the harder stuff than it was? Oh, no kidding.
Yes, yes. It was all over the place. So I'm walking into a new world of everybody has it. The drug dealers, friends, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper than the pills. So I was, loving it.
Did you have kids at this point?
I did. I did.
Okay. Were you
Um,
still with their father?
no, he went to prison for 2 years. And when he got out, I was already a drug addict. My kids had got taken into DCFS
Mm-hmm.
before I had escalated in my addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get depressed really, really bad. And so the DCFS came and took them and I I lost it. I lost hope. I had nothing.
Were you depressed before the drugs, or did that kind of trigger the depression?
Triggered the depression when I was on opiates. I couldn't get out of bed. I was a CNA. I couldn't go to work. It was horrible. Horrible. I,
So
I
back up a little bit. You were in this abusive relationship, so there had to be some kind of depression there even beforehand.
it was, and I didn't notice it, but it was. It
Okay.
was. It was. I just didn't pay it any attention. So I worked a lot um to avoid, you
And you
know,
worked in the medical community.
I did. I
So
did.
did you see opioid addiction in your line of work?
Oh yeah, nurses, nurses. Um, they got fired, but yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it. It was horrible. Some nurses would take the residents' medication.
Ugh.
Yep.
So even though you saw it, it wasn't enough to be like, "Oh, I can't go down that road."
Nope.
No. It's just once you started, it was just full speed ahead.
Yep. Yep.
So were you able to maintain your job? At what point could you not work anymore?
Like I said, I was in an abusive relationship, and my kid's dad ended up calling the cops after he beat me, and I went to the jail, and I caught a charge, which you can't have that on your record when you're in the medical field. So I couldn't go back to work.
And was he involved with the kids?
He was. He
Okay.
was. We was living together, and I had his daughter and my two kids. So we had three kids in a home.
What was your childhood like?
I mean, I thought it was normal, but it wasn't normal. That's not normal. My mom was a addict. My stepfather, my whole family is. drugs, 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 and liquor. And I thought that was normal.
So it was no surprise to you to be on these prescription pills and be addicted to it. Was like what was the addiction for your parents?
Crack cocaine.
Oh, so you grew up with that.
Yeah, I grew up young, knowing what a um the paraphernalia was. I already knew what it was in elementary school. I've seen drug dealers come to my mom's house and deliver her drugs while we outside playing, you know. I just thought it was normal. I didn't think nothing of it.
So what happened to mom and dad?
My mom died in 2017. She did get clean before she passed. 4 years she was.
4 years, okay.
Yeah, she had health problems. My dad, he died in prison. He got raped in prison and caught AIDS. And I was 13 when he passed. So I carried that. Carried a lot of hate for him because you did that. You went to prison. You left me with these people, and he was crazy, mentally not there. You know,
Do you know what he had? What was he dealing with?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
No idea. But he was. I want to say psychopath.
Okay.
So
Did you have siblings?
I did. I had 4 siblings, which I took care of when my mom was in her addiction. I bathed them. I had to wash their clothes in a tub. Cook for them. I had to go to the store, steal food to eat
Mm-hmm.
because there was no food in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I try to protect. I have one sister. I try to protect her from the men that was coming in the house. Now,
Sure.
I did get touched when I was little. It didn't bother my mom. I mean, it was right in my house, and you know, my mom didn't do anything. So I tried to protect my sister from men coming in and out the house. And it wasn't from my mom. It was just a party house. Everybody come in there to party and smoke crack in the house. And another thing, when I was going to school, I was in elementary, and my mom would have these parties while I was at school. When I come home, go in my room, I see, residue on my dresser
Oh
of
no.
they're in my room smoking crack, leaving stuff on my dresser. And I'm like, Mom, can you keep these people out of my room? I have to take a towel and wipe the drugs off of my dresser. And she didn't do whatever, it didn't bother her. And I grew up very angry at my mom. I was very angry at everybody.
So you had no privacy and no safety and no security and nobody to provide for you?
No,
Nothing?
I
Nothing.
was the provider. I did what I could do for my siblings.
So then when you fast forward and you're with this man, he's abusive, you end up addicted to these opioids, you can't get any more. So now you're out in the streets and at your family's home getting whatever it is you need. And then, so then what happens? You can't work anymore and your kids are gone. So where are you living at this point?
I'm on the street, and I I was just a hopeless person, like a walking hopeless person, just doing whatever I can do to survive. I sold myself. I've done things that I would never thought that I would do. I don't look like it now, but I was that person. I was that person. I was prostituting. I
Mm-hmm.
was stealing people money just for the drugs. And I don't even know who that person is now. I've changed so much. And it's just amazing if what God can do in your life when you surrender to him. I mean, I was a walking like nothing. I used to beg people at the store just to eat and had nowhere to go. I used to sleep in a laundromat for warmth. Um, cars, you know, hooking up with any man just to have a place to stay, shower. I mean, I was that person that you look on the street corner and you were like, ooh, that was me.
How did
That
you do that for 13 years? How
was
did
years. I don't know how I did that. Like I say, I walk the street, prostitute, day by day, every day, the same thing. And I don't know how I got through. I know how I got through that. It was by the grace of God.
yeah.
But it was just horrible. And I used to always think to myself, I know it's something better out there for me. I know it. This is not me. But I could not fight that monkey on my back. That monkey on my back was strong. It was strong. I mean, I was doing things. I went to prison for conspiracy to robbery. My
Mhm.
I had a pimp.
Mhm.
He told us to go into a trick's house and take his money. I did. I went right along with them because I was gonna get fed drugs
Yeah.
and it was free. I had a roof over my head and hot water. That's all I cared about. I ended up getting in trouble. And I remember detoxing so bad in that jail. It was horrible. Fentanyl you just don't detox right away. It takes a couple days for it to get out. So it was really bad in the jail. And I stayed in there and I finally told the detective, I know everything and I'm gonna tell. And I told
Mhm.
everything. So now the guy, it was 5 people with us, they got 25 years in prison and I got 5 years. And
Oh,
actually I did on 18 months in prison. And so it was just a nasty, nasty lifestyle. Nasty lifestyle.
were you doing drugs every day?
Yeah, or else I'll be sick. I'll be dope sick.
Oh, okay.
And that's what made me go out and do, because the dope sick itself is just, you think you get, just imagine yourself getting hit by a Mack truck. Um, I can't even describe that feeling. It was bad, and you do anything not to feel like that. So it was every day, all day. I'm searching for my next fix. Who can I get money from so I can get me a bag?
Mhm. Even though
And
you didn't want to, and you were thinking there's got to be something more. I don't want to do this anymore, but it's so painful. You can't not do it.
yep, yep.
And you were
Had
not seeing your kids at all at this
no,
point.
at this point, seen no my kids. No, my family. I haven't seen them, and yeah. So I was all alone. No support. No support.
Did you check in with family? Did anybody look for you? Was there any contact?
I did try to contact people, but I guess they was ashamed of me, of how I was. They knew I looked it crazy. I had a wig that that all over the place, dirty clothes, and I think they was embarrassed to even be around me. But when I was in jail, I met this lady. Her name is Elizabeth.
Mhm.
She just kept coming to see me. She was a chaplain of the jail. Oh, she was a chaplain of the jail, and she just kept talking to me and coming in and seeing me. And I thought she was, a weird lady, but she started speaking life into me. I've never had that type of support before, ever. And it was weird and awkward to have somebody actually want to know about how you're doing and how you're doing mentally and stuff. And it was weird and awkward. And I'm still friends with her to this day.
Really? So was she praying with you?
Yes, she was. And if it wasn't for her prayers, I don't think I would be here.
So you felt the prayers.
I did. I did. I got out of jail and of course went back. If you don't change your circle, I guarantee you'll be back. Even though you want to get clean and you want to stay clean, you gotta change your circle. You gotta leave people alone that's still using, because I guarantee you will be back using. And it might be your last time using.
Did you ever
So,
have any close calls?
oh yes,
Yeah.
I killed to on purpose. I got so tired one time, and I was an IV user,
Okay.
so I did it both. My veins popped, and I couldn't find anything. I would have to snort it. I improvised.
Mhm.
So I've purposely tried to take my own self out because I was tired of that lifestyle. There was no hope. My mom had just passed, and she was the only one after she got clean that actually cared. And she didn't want to see me dope sick, so she'll give me $10 to, it's like an alcoholic. When you don't have liquor, your body shake, you throw up,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she didn't want to see me struggle like that. So was she enabling me? Yeah, she was, but she didn't want to see me struggle, withdrawing. And so when she died, I I just knew, I'm like, it's downhill from here. There's no way. So, and back then they had fentanyl that was different colors, green, blue, purple. And to me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is some good stuff here. But no, that stuff will kill you in an instant. And I knew that, and I filled up my whole rig, and I laid in the bed like, I'm like, well, they'll think I'm asleep. But my brother, he came in and I wasn't responding, and he called the cops. I've done it at work, OD'd at work. I have ended up in a job at a factory, went to the bathroom and did it in the bathroom. I was in there for an hour. In there, and I came to, and I had a needle poking out of my arm at work in the bathroom. They fired me, of course, but it was all these things, the bathroom at McDonald's, places, just anywhere I can go. You know, I've saved people from ODing as well. Um, it was just a nasty lifestyle.
Did you
And
maintain the same group of other addicts? Like, was it the consistent same people over and over that you were hanging out with, or was it new people all the time?
it was different people, but same time it was the same people. You see, like, when you score, you want to go to your friend's house and but then you meet new people. So it was both. I'll say both.
So were still using when your mom died?
Yes.
What was the day like that you woke up that day and just couldn't do it anymore? Were you in jail at that time, or did you get out of jail and go back to using?
I got out of jail, went back to using, and I had a warrant out for my arrest. So I was running and ducking and dodging, you know. So I went out, didn't come back to court like I was supposed to, because
How
that's
long
what the
were
judge.
you in jail?
In 2019, I stayed in there until 2020. I went to a halfway house. COVID. I was
Mhm,
doing very good.
mhm,
COVID hit, and I did not want to stay in there and get COVID and die alone.
mhm.
I And why did I leave? I was walking the street. I had nowhere to go. So I ended up calling. I went to the hospital, found out I had COVID, and they put me up in a hotel room. I was by myself alone, and yeah, it was just crazy. It was
So
crazy.
you were clean for a year while you were in
Yeah.
jail, and then
While
you got out, went to a halfway house, and were like, "I'm not having this halfway house,"
Yeah, and I left.
and you left and back on the streets doing drugs again? How long did that last?
Up until 2021.
So another year.
Yeah. Yep.
So in 2021, what happened?
I was working at a peanut factory. So I was able, I never stayed on a job more than a month.
Mhm,
So I was working at a peanut factory. I had all these warrants, and I was house hopping, going this house, that house, this house, that house. And I had just scored, and I had gotten into a altercation with my brother, and I don't know how the police got called. I think I called the police. Why did I do that? I don't know.
Mhm.
But end up calling the police, and they end up taking me to jail. I stayed in jail January 4th of 21 all the way up until June 11th is
Mhm.
when I was released from prison. While I was in prison, though, I made a conscious decision, like, I cannot go back out there. Imma die. I will die if I go out there and use. I just knew I was gonna die. So
Mhm.
when I went to prison, they had this drug program called the West Care in there, and I took everything in I possibly I learned about my addiction, I learned about the, mental disease. Come to find out, I don't even have this stuff. It was the drugs that was telling me that I had a mental issue because I was still, the drugs. Didn't have a mental issue, it was all because of the drugs. When I got released from prison, you still got all these people that's still using. I had to stop people constantly pulling out drugs in front of me, calling me, "Hey, you wanna come over and party?" And I mean, I'm dodging everybody. You have to do that in order to keep yourself clean. And I told people, I said, "I don't care if it's my kids. If they are jeopardizing my sobriety, you gotta go. I don't care who it is." And I stand on that. You have to change your people, places, and things. You
Mhm.
have you have to.
So while you
So
were in prison, you just got to the point where you were thinking, "What am I doing? I can't do this anymore." And that was enough to push you into these classes that they were offering. Were they mandatory or did you get to pick?
it was mandatory.
Okay.
But in there with an open mind, I guarantee you, you're gonna learn something. You
Yeah.
can't go in there and say, "Oh, this is stupid," or this, I'm not gonna. No, you learn everything you possibly can, so you can get better.
Was that offered to you the time before that when you were in jail?
No, no, they didn't. The county jail didn't have that stuff. The prison did. I'm glad I went to prison.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went. It saved my life.
That's what triggered you to get clean.
Yeah,
So you got out in June and had to change the people that you were hanging around with, stop going to the places you were going to, stop doing the things that you were doing. How did you stick to that? Why did it stick that time and not before?
I was determined. I was determined. I had so much, and my husband now, he was my boyfriend, and I'm like, I can't look. I finally got somebody that loves me. He knows what I've been through. I can't lose that, and you have to do it for yourself. You can't get clean because your mom, your dad, your sisters, your kids want you to get clean. You have to get clean, want to get clean on your own.
Mhm.
And so I made that decision. I don't want to lose anybody else. I want to be clean. I want to know what it's like to be clean. What it's like to have a normal life. And I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Then I'm like, there's no way. But I had to. Family, friends, everybody had to go. You got to go. If you breaking liquor, alcohol, drugs, I don't care if it's just weed. You can't be around me. It's not that you're gonna trigger me. I just don't want to be around it no more.
How did you meet your husband?
I met him on a dating website back in 2015. He knew my struggle. He actually put me in a gateway um, treatment place.
Ah.
I was bad. I came knocking on his door. I'm like, I need, help. Somebody tried to kill me. They gave me the wrong drugs. Almost died. And he was like, okay, he called Gateway. And it took a month for them to get me in. But when they got me in there, I was coming down really bad. And they gave me Suboxone. And when you're on fentanyl, like I say, fentanyl do not come out of your system right away. It takes 3 days for it to come out. They gave me Suboxone and then instantly put me in a withdrawal, a
Mhm.
horse run. And so I left and I called them. I'm like, I'm out of here. They trying to kill me. So gateway didn't happen, right? So then I end up going to getting some methadone to help. So he was trying to help me. He was trying to help me, but
So if you met him in 2015, were you dating him throughout that whole time? So
yes.
he was with you while you were in jail and prison and
Not dating. I want to say money. He was helping me with money.
oh, okay.
So that's how, and I kept running. I didn't want that back then. And I asked, hey, can I get some money? And he'll help me out, but he said he wanted a relationship, and I did not. I just like, ew, no, you know. And I kept running. I wanted to be out there
Mm-hmm.
because I knew he was trying to help me get clean. I finally came out and told him I'm a drug addict. He knew it. I know that, you know. And so he helped me when I went to prison, when I went to jail and prison. He stood by my side. I've never seen that before. Somebody do that. That
Mm-hmm.
too. I'm like, what do you want from me? Why are you still here? You know, pushing people away. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. You know, it was just weird. I didn't have people caring like that.
Yeah. So when you got out and you decided no more of that, you said you were working in a peanut factory? And what
Yeah.
happened? How'd that
I couldn't keep up with the people. You know, I'm sluggish. Couldn't keep up. And they said, well, you can't be here. But it was a boxing company where OD'd in the bathroom. But the peanut factory, I only stayed there for like a month. And so I was trying to get work, it didn't work out.
but you were clean. You were
No,
sober.
no.
So then when you got out of prison and you had those classes and you were determined to get out and get clean, once you got out, where did you go? What did you do?
I came home, which is here now. I was on parole. Just doing everything I can do to stay clean. I didn't go to any meetings. I was just like to myself. Church is what helped me. I had people in my church community that will help me. Um, Prayer, stay away from the things that people, staying away from people. And I did, these assessments, and I went to Rosecrans, which is a drug place. They assess you and stuff. They didn't see anything that would make me go back into the classes. So I mean, I just stayed to myself. I blocked everybody on my phone. Didn't go out, until I was ready to get back into the community where I know I'm, strong.
So when you got out, you didn't have a job, you didn't have a car, you didn't have a place to live, but you still had this desire somewhere in you to see what life would be like if you were clean and sober and just kind of rebirthed. So
Yep,
so you started going to church. Did you use that as your foundation?
I do. I really
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta have something. I don't care who your higher power is. You gotta lean on that. It could be a fraud. You know, my higher power is God, and I gave him my addiction. I don't want to do it no more. I'm tired of going through the same cycle over, in and out of jail, stuck on drugs, wasting, doing all this crazy stuff just for the drugs. I was tired. I was tired. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You
Mm-hmm.
got so.
So so you stuck with your church community, and how did you stay clean? You just pushed through,
Push through it.
structured your days different. Did
Yep,
you have did you have to cut all your family out?
I did. I did. Like, especially, I kept in touch with two people, which is my aunt and my cousin. But everybody else, they was on drugs. Had to
Mm-hmm.
cut me out. Friends, so I was by myself.
Were you still living in the same area?
No, I was living here where I'm at now.
And that's not where you were before?
Oh, no,
So
no,
you don't even have those people around you?
no. You gotta cut those people off. I had to. I knew I had to. They was gonna, try to give you the free bag first and try to keep doing that so you can keep coming back. No, I knew better.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So is it still a struggle? Do you have that temptation?
no, not temptation, but smells. Like, if I'm driving down the street, all of a sudden, 'cause I used to smoke crack cocaine as well,
Mm-hmm.
and exhaust from a car. If it backfire, you get that smell. I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
it smells like that. And I was like, and it brought up memories. Your stomach started tingling, and now, shake it out. You got to shake that out. You know, don't think about that. And so, but it happens every blue moon. I do have dreams that I'm using, smoking,
Mm-hmm.
and I wake up and I'm like, I start praying that dream out. And it just happened every blue moon now. But at first it was constant, 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 constant.
So did you have to fight through that?
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Do you think that was part of the withdrawal? Or
Oh
was
yeah,
it, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the devil trying to pull you back in?
Hmm.
Do you feel like it was like the devil had his claws in you?
Yeah, for sure. That is a devil's drug.
Mm-hmm.
That is a devil's drug.
So the guy that you met online in 2015, you married him?
Yeah, we're married now.
Okay. So he supported you through your sobriety. He stuck with you. Was he a user?
He was back in he like 30 years clean when he was in his teenage years.
Oh,
He was on cocaine,
okay.
but he's been clean. So,
For how
and
long?
it's been 30, 26, 30, 27 years now.
Okay. So you both know how to support each other through that kind of addiction. So do you find that you have addiction to other things um like anything like food or certain behaviors or
Yeah. You trade one addiction for another.
so what is it? What do you deal with now?
Food.
Oh, it is food?
It's food. It's sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you still get the same feelings you did before?
No, and it's like it's not let me take that back. I notice this. I'm like when I get hungry,
Mm-hmm.
I won't even be hungry. It's just my stomach's in my head. Oh, you're hungry. I start feeling like I'm withdrawing from fentanyl, heroin. I start feeling like that. And I'm like, what is that? What is this going on? I'll eat and then I'll feel better. I noticed that and I'm like, this is not normal. Found out it's an addiction. So
Uh-huh.
it's one addiction for another.
So what do you do about that? Are you
I,
working through that?
I'm working through it now. It's hard. Food is very I love food. And so you just gotta have that willingness to just, enough is enough. I don't want to be a diabetic. I don't want to be, 500 pounds on my 600-pound life, you know? So
Yeah.
you purposely go to the store. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in that area because I've gained a lot of weight. And you just go to the grocery store and pick stuff that you're not gonna eat like that because it's just sitting there.
Yeah. So what is life like now? Sober.
I love it.
Yeah.
this life is amazing. I would never go back. Ever. You couldn't pay me $1 trillion to go back to that lifestyle. I love waking up in the morning and not having to worry about where I'm gonna get my next fix. I love waking up in the morning, having a roof over my head,
Mm.
um, shower, food. My girls are in my life. I'm working, getting my kids back. So life is absolutely good right now. I don't have any complaints about it.
So you have purpose and structure. Do you have to plan your days so that you don't fall off track?
No, I like planning my days anyway to not waste gas.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like I say, I cut all those people off. I could see them in the store and I'm hi, bye. That's
Hmm.
that. No. So I plan my day just to save gas, and I gotta go this place, and I like doing that. I like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's wonderful being sober. You can see things differently. When you're an addict and you're using an active user, everything is just dark around you. You can't see the positive stuff. So I'm telling you, when you get sober, get clean, the sun is always shining. It's like you skipping along life. And I love that.
How do you go from hopeless, I'm stuck, everything is dark, I don't know what to do. How could I possibly get past feeling like this to I'm changing this, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like, how do you go from being so dark to saying I can't do that anymore? That's got to be the hardest thing you've ever done.
It was. I gave my life over to the Lord,
That
to Jesus.
that was the key. Okay.
And a lot of people like, "Oh, that don't work." It did for me. It did
So
for
what
me.
is that? So what does it mean when you give your life over to Jesus?
It's not gonna be easy at first. I did it, and I'm just still struggling, but I trusted Him.
Mm-hmm.
I had to surrender everything, my mind, emotions, my will, everything. And before you know it, He was leading me along the way and guiding me. I can go to Him. I was determined, Father, take this away from me. I don't want to be a drug addict no more. I want to be a citizen, upstanding citizen. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be a person. I don't want to be robbing people. I don't want to be, sleeping with different men every day for money, for drugs. And I was crying. Got on my knees. I don't want to do this anymore. And
So,
and that's what.
so you went from a horrible childhood to a terrible, horrible relationship to addiction to prescription medications to street drugs to prostitution to depression to being in the darkest place of your life and got to the point where you couldn't take it anymore. I mean, that's as deep and as dark as you can get.
Yep. Yep.
And you were able to pull yourself up and say, Lord, help me through this and change everything around. So it can be done.
It can be done. I am a witness to that. Look at me. I wanted to show you some pictures of my before and after. I've saved some addict pictures,
Yeah.
and this person you would not recognize. So it's worth it. Give yourself, believe in yourself. You can do this. Look at me. I'm living proof. It can happen.
But you didn't do it by yourself. So that connection to your church community was a saving grace for you because this is hard to do by yourself, nearly impossible. You really have to turn yourself over to your faith and take that first step and then embrace the support and the connection of community. And you found that in your church.
I did. I did. I did. And my husband's family as well. When I he was supporting me all as well. So I reached out to his mom. If I just wanted somebody to talk to.
Mhm. So how long have you been clean and sober? How long has this new life been happening for you?
It's been 4 years.
Praise the Lord.
No, praise God. 4
Yes.
wonderful years.
Good for
Wonderful.
you. Congratulations.
Thank you.